It's the start of the month, and with the hearts and love all over the stores, why not read some romances this month? What better way to start off the romance reading, though, than by reading a villainous story? Yes, I'm garbage, I know. I just can't stay away from these stories like a moth to the flame, I swear. I feel like I read so many of these stories, then I take another look, then there's 20 more waiting for me, and I'm just like, yes, please. Anyway, this manga, If the Villainess and Villain Met and Fell in Love, is an ongoing series with about 20 plus chapters and an ongoing light novel with around 5 volumes, 3 currently available for purchase. The manga is also available for purchase as either a physical book or an ebook. I currently own the first volume as an ebook, that's how I read it. So this is also a volume 1 first impression, as I am trying to make my way through the almost 300 volume ones I own. After reading the first volume, which contains 5 chapters, I actually did enjoy this story, and I do plan to continue with the next volume. As far as a villainous story goes, I thought this one was just okay. It's not an isekai, transmigration, or reincarnation story, it's just a fantasy villainous story, which I have not read many of these. The typical villainous tropes exist here: engaged to the prince, disliked by everyone, abusive, uncaring parents, considered to have no magic, the condemnation event, and so much more. I too prefer when the main character is in a known story that they love and they are inhabiting the body of a character who is actually labeled as the villainous. This is not that story, and as soon as it starts, the first page is the condemnation, so we've moved past everything that would make it more of a villainous story, so in a way it did not feel like one to me. I did appreciate the story for what it was though. After all, I do plan to continue this. I did look more into the story, and from what I'm reading, the relationship between the two main characters, Brigitte the villainess and Yuri the villain, their relationship is supposed to be quite wholesome. I did like their dynamic together. He is a brilliant genius student, but he is pretty standoffish. Brigitte, on the other hand, dumped herself down because of her fiancé. She was trying to do whatever she could to please him and be worthy of his love, but now that he broke off their engagement, she's trying to get back on the path to achieving her dream. In doing so, she becomes quite competitive with Yuri, and they become closer due to that. It's actually pretty cute to watch. As for the story, I won't go into too much detail here, so mild spoilers. The people of this world make contracts with spirits, and the main character was only able to make a contract with the spirit that is considered a no-name spirit. Because of this, her parents dislike her, and her reputation is pretty low. While she and the prince had a relatively good friendship in the beginning, as they got older, he changed, calling off their engagement for someone else. Now that she is no longer engaged, she intends to follow her dream of studying spirits. As a villainous story, this is not high on my list, but as a fantasy romance, I thought this was cute, and I am looking forward to continuing it. It's certainly filled with cliches, not just the typical villainous tropes, but also the usual romance ones as well. I think it's certainly worth giving a read if you want a romance story with the villainous elements.